Welcome to Midnight Menu Plus One. I'm Ray Canada.
And I'm Margot Moss.
We are here once again at Ted's Frost Top on Claiborne and Calhoun, where we meet each week with a member of the New Orleans restaurant and food community and their mystery guest. And we'll be doing that in just a moment. But we want to say that we're part of the It's New Orleans family of shows. Well, Margot, I'm very excited. We are going to have Tess Monahan on in a moment from Good Egg, one of the most interesting things in New Orleans, founding team member of that innovative project in New Orleans. Before she gets here, wondering what you did this week food-wise? Anything exciting?
I was out of town, so I had home-cooked food all week. Did you have any exciting meals?
It was a busy week, but I had a couple really good things. I mean, this morning for Monday, I do our traditional, eggs, right? I do suris, right, with my wife. But I had to write down what I had a couple days ago because I had never heard of this before. I had gourmand sebzi stew. Do you know what that is?
Gourmand sebzi stew?
Yeah.
No. God bless you.
Right. It doesn't sound appetizing. It was great. It was red beans and sun-dried lime and beef and vegetables, these traditional herbs with like basmati rice, like white and yellow basmati rice. It's at that Vita place. You know where that is?
No.
It replaced the Courtyard Grill, which was a generic name for a very interesting ethnic place. It was like a Middle Eastern place on Magazine right before Napoleon. And I don't know if it has new management or what, but it's still Mid-Eastern, but now it has a whole new menu. Okay, and it has a new name, Vita's Grill, it's called. And it's got a really funny sign. What attracted me to it was I went by, and it has one of those signs that says, "Take your person in the courtyard and calm down," or something like that. It has this strangely translated sign in the front.
Is quinoa in the menu, though?
No. Oh, yeah. Couscous, of course. But anyway, but it was wonderful. And everybody spoke perfect English there. Just the sign was broken English, but the rest of it was great. So that might have been on purpose. I don't know what that might be a marketing gimmick. I don't know, but
so it is Middle Eastern.
Yeah, I believe it is. It's Iranian. Someone told me, but it used to be Turkish before. But I heard this dish is Iranian.
Okay, well that's exciting.
Yeah, it was very interesting. I'd recommend it definitely. I enjoyed it a lot.
All right.
That's all I got for you. Worth talking about. Other than the fact that because we have the Good Egg woman with us, I brought some yard eggs from my yard, and I'm going to share these with anybody who wants them. I got them all different colors, but they all taste the same.
Oh, can we have some?
Yeah, you can. You want these eggs? I brought a half dozen eggs. I mean, look how beautiful those are.
Yeah. That is.
Our listeners can't see that, but they are really gorgeous.
These
aren't they?
From your yard?
Yeah, my chickens laid these eggs. I get about 3 a day, and so that's about 2 days worth. And I'll tell you what. There's one warning though. I mean, I know you've had yard eggs before, but so you may be aware of this, but they'll ruin you to regular eggs. I mean, after you have the yard eggs, you'll never want to get a grocery store egg again if you have more than 3 or 4 in a row. I mean, I found it's sort of like certain drugs. You can have them once and it's all right, you're not addicted, but crack. They say I've never had crack. They say 2 or 3 times and you're in a row and you're hooked. That's how the yard eggs are. 2 or 3 times.
The crack of the
They're the crack of the egg world, the yard eggs. They really are. And we feed them well, and we take care of them. We love them. And my daughter tries to hug them, but they peck at her a lot. They're terrible pets. But, she's here today. She can tell you. But anyway, they got lots of room to run around. But I don't think you can mess them up. I mean, they're just so delicious, the yard eggs. I love them.
Well, let's get to our guests because
she can tell us a lot more.
Yeah, she can tell us how other people can have access to yard eggs. I'm
Yes.
interested in learning.
Welcome, Tess.
Hi, guys. Thanks for having me.
So good to have you here.
I am really excited to hear about your yard eggs because I am renovating a house with my boyfriend right now in the Bywater. And one of the things we're most excited about is getting, as my boyfriend says, our statutory allotment of yard fowl.
Yeah, well, I mean,
he wants to
the
max
Bywater
out our
is the
chickens.
neighborhood I think of as being like the headquarters of yard eggs. Like,
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
always
Well,
been
there's
that's the first
roosters.
place I saw chickens, but a lot of roosters
A lot
too.
of roosters. We were at work, so our office is in the Marigny, close to the Bywater.
See, uptown we're fussier. We got lots of chickens, but no roosters.
Well,
no
so
one
my
will
dad
tolerate the
lives
roosters.
uptown. My dad lives on Robert
Right.
Street, and they just got 3 chicks, and one died, and then the other one started crowing. So they had to send it to the country because apparently...
Is that a euphemism? Did they really send it to the country?
Their neighbor has a farm in Mississippi or knows someone with a farm
Most
in
people send
Mississippi.
it to the Bywater. That's what most people do with their roosters. That's why you have so many.
Maybe we'll start a rooster sanctuary in our backyard. We have this big backyard, and I'm really excited to put a chicken coop in it.
Well, Margot, you may not know this. I mean, you know everything, so you probably know this, but some of our listeners probably don't know. The problem is you can't tell a boy from a girl when they're born, and they have this thing called sexting and all this kind of stuff, but the bottom line is it's pretty much a crapshoot. So when you get the chickens, you don't know if they're going to grow up to be roosters. And as they start to grow, the chickens have some red stuff. The thing I associate with roosters, they start to different breeds have the same things, and it's really hard to tell. The only way you finally know is when you see them start to, fornicate in the or else you
or
see,
they start crowing.
Or they start crowing. Sometimes they'll crow before they'll do that. They get their deep voice before the rest of the things come together for them. I think I'm not really that great on the chicken physiology yet, but I know that this can be a problem. So this was a worry for us. For months, we were all stressed out. Is this going to be a rooster? Because one of them looked bigger than the others and all that, but they all turned out to be chickens.
You're very lucky.
Was that pretty accurate, what I said?
I don't know yet. I mean, my dad has these chickens, but I've only seen them on weekends, really, when I come uptown.
How many does he
I don't
have?
come uptown on weekdays normally.
Yeah.
He has, now he's down to one.
Oh, you can't do
that. He
that.
had 3. Well,
they're social. They got to be together.
I know. They're going to try to get some more, but they had 3, but one died and one was a rooster, so they're down to 1.
The other problem I've heard is, I don't know, but I've heard that you can't reintroduce other ones into the... You have trouble with that. They're different ages and stuff. They get jealous of each other and they'll peck each other. That's the pecking order thing and all that, and they can hurt each other. I don't know.
It's going to be rough.
Oh, boy. But you get your eggs. You don't grow your own eggs with Good Eggs. You
No,
bring them
at
from
Good
farmers
Eggs-
who've been doing this for a long time,
Yes,
right? Tell us about that.
So Good Eggs is essentially a virtual farmer's market where you can go online, and currently our eggs that we have on our website come from Stony Point Farm, which is in Stony Point, Louisiana on the North Shore, and also from the Motes, who have an amazing dairy operation and also some chickens just across the border in Mississippi. So people like those guys. Stony Point also has lots of vegetables. We're working with maybe 40 different local farmers and food makers who all list their products on Good Eggs. So it's essentially like shopping from a big farmer's market where you can go online, see what we have for that day or that week, and you order online, and then you select either pickup or home delivery. And whatever day you've ordered for, we will either bring the goods right to your doorstep, or you can pick it up at a designated pickup
Now, you
spot.
already have the inventory when they go to order it?
We don't have the inventory physically. So here's how it
Okay.
works. So let's say you're ordering for Thursday. For Thursday, you can order by Tuesday at midnight. So everything is so fresh because you order Tuesday at 10 p.m. Then on Wednesday, the farmer goes out to the field and, picks the apples off the tree. The chickens lay the eggs. Everything happens, super, super close to when you're actually getting the food. And then on Thursday, the farmers bring the products into New Orleans and we deliver them to you.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, so everything's really fresh and really local.
Now, what's the sort of delivery charge generally? I'm sure it varies. But
$3.99 flat fee.
Flat fee. So if
Yep.
I ordered 10 dozen eggs, it
Yep.
would be $3.99.
And if you ordered 1 dozen eggs, it would also be $3.99.
So
So it's a
you're
much better
encouraged
deal
to-
to order
right.
10 dozen eggs.
And
Yeah.
you deliver anywhere in the city?
We're delivering in kind of the central part of New Orleans right now.
Okay.
Everything on this side of the river, on this side of the industrial canal. So, everywhere from Uptown, Lakeview, Garden District, French Quarter, Gentilly.
So not the West Bank and not
the West
New
Bank
Orleans
yet,
East,
not
and
New Orleans
and
East.
not the suburbs.
Not yet, but we hope to get there by the end of the year.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's not just eggs.
Yeah,
is
tell
the
us
other
all the
thing.
different things. You've alluded to apples. What else do you
Okay,
have?
we have apples. We have squash. Right now we have butternut and acorn squash. We have pumpkins. Today we got, what are those things called that you make like a custard out of? They're like a custard fruit. Persimmons.
Wow.
We got persimmons on the site today. That's new. Then we also have prepared meals. So we have hummus. It's like snacky stuff like hummus. We have bread. We have cookies. We have cupcakes. The NOLA pie guy, Nate Winner, who's been on this show.
Yeah, right.
He sells his pies through our site. We have
He's
meat.
everywhere, that guy.
He's just so likable is the thing about that guy. He's got those dimples.
Right.
He's
His
just
pies suck, but he's so likable. No, we're just kidding. No, his pies are
his
great.
pies
I love
are
his
also
pies.
great.
Yeah.
And he's likable. I mean, it's
Right.
a winning combination. We have meat. We have chicken. We have crab meat. We have local crab meat. The girl who sells us crab meat, she says she's getting gator in soon. So we're
Nice.
gonna maybe be selling gator.
Now I saw too. Don't you sell pasta, like handmade
We
pastas?
do. So Daniel Esses, who's the chef and co-owner of Three Muses
Right,
on
we've had
Frenchman
him
Street.
on the show as
oh,
well.
right.
Yeah, right.
We love him. He's one of our
great.
favorites. So he's doing handmade pasta and some pasta sauces that he's selling through the site as well. He does this incredible squid ink fettuccine. It's a black fettuccine, lightly squid ink flavored. Also some spinach flavored pastas, and then these amazing sauces. He does a marinara and a puttanesca, and then he does this vodka sauce that is dangerously addictive.
So he puts it in jars for you. What does he do with it?
Right now, he's going to start jarring them at some point, but right now
they're in skins. What are they?
They're in like Chinese soup containers.
What?
Like those. Like
really?
the plastic ones with either the quart or the pint, and the top that kind of pops.
Where does he get them? Are they just like left over in his house after he's had Chinese takeout? Like where?
Restaurant Depot, wherever people get
gotcha.
that junk.
Okay.
They're clean. They're new. They're not used or
right.
recycled. As much as we like recycling, but the thing is, you're even in that packaging, I've tested it out. They definitely last 2 or 3 weeks in the fridge at least. But it's not like spaghetti sauce that you're buying at the grocery store, which was made months and months ago. He's
by
making
a robot.
By a robot. He's making every batch fresh to order. So he makes sauce for us twice a week.
That's so great.
You're getting sauce that was made within the last couple of days. His sauces, I think, for the pints are around $5.
That's
and then
crazy.
the quarts are around $8.
Why would I ever get something in the grocery store
You're
ever
never
again?
going to ever again.
That would be the stupidest thing I could ever do.
Dumb.
Dumb. That sounds great.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Now, I'd like to know a little bit about the history of Good Egg.
Yeah.
And it started out in
San Francisco.
Okay.
So the company was founded a little over 2 years ago by two guys who had backgrounds in the Silicon Valley tech world, but had gotten really interested in local food and local farming. They, one of them had worked for a company called Carbon 5. He was one of the founding partners of Carbon 5, which is a really awesome web development company out there. And then the other one was one of the founders of Aardvark, which was a search engine company that was sold to Google a couple of years ago. And so they both had really strong connections in Silicon Valley and a really awesome skill set for developing tech products. But they decided they wanted to apply their skills to something that felt really meaningful to them. And, one of them, Alon, has a young kid and had just, started thinking about how to feed his family really well. And they realized that they really cared about local food systems. They saw farmers and local food producers as this amazing, positive, life-affirming antidote to this mass-produced industrial food system where, you like you said, robots are making the spaghetti sauce most of the time. And when you buy food through producers on Good Eggs, you know that food is coming from someone local who's putting love and care into that food and really cares about how it's grown or made, and you know where your food is coming from, and that's important.
So do you have like a standard, or there's some kind of parameters that you set for what farmers you work with? I mean, if Monsanto says, yes, we'd like to ship our Franken tomatoes to you and use that, like, how do you say no to that? Like, what's the...
Yeah, well, we work with family-owned businesses and with co-ops.
Okay.
So we...
Like, what's the biggest farm you work with? Like, how big would it be?
40 acres,
okay.
I think, is the biggest
wow.
that I can think of right now. We have maybe two farms that have 40 acres.
That's like a tool shed.
They're
for
not
Monsanto.
they're not even cultivating that whole 40 acres, but they have around 40 acres.
Wow.
We're working, and as we grow here, we just got started here in the last couple of months, and as we grow here, I think our farmers will need to grow with us because we're hoping and expecting to be, feeding lots and lots of people in New Orleans. So we're hoping that we provide an easier and more efficient way for these farmers who are doing such amazing things and putting so much love and care into the food that they produce to get that food to customers, efficiently.
Now, do a lot of these farmers also work with the farmers markets in town?
We
love the farmers market. It's been an award-winning farmers market, and
wonderful farmers market has done so much to increase awareness around local food in the city.
Right.
Our idea is, I personally, my past job, love the farmers market. In my ideal vision of my world, go to the farmers market twice a week. In reality, how often did I make it to the farmers market?
Right.
I was working, I was busy, I was doing whatever, got lazy and just didn't make it there in time. So the idea is we love farmers markets, and if you have time in your schedule to go to the farmers market and it's convenient for you, we think you should go. However, we understand that people's lives get busy, and sometimes you have to work late, and sometimes you have to take your kid to soccer practice. And so we're there to help feed you the same quality of food as you would buy at the farmer's market on those days when you just can't make it there.
And you're available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week because you're a website. And
exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Great.
Well, I have a lot more questions for you, but I think we would like to get to your mystery guest at this point. So who have you brought this evening to join us?
I have brought Millie Schamberger, who has a lot of interesting things to say, some of which will also probably be about Good Eggs. I met Millie a couple of months ago. She was living in Orange Beach, Alabama at the time. She'd gone to Loyola, but then moved back to Orange Beach. She's from Alabama. And so we met her, and she was telling us all about how she had started this garden in her backyard and her experience growing food. And we thought, you know what, this girl needs to come work at Good Eggs with us. So we summoned her back from Alabama, and she started as an intern at Good Eggs a couple months ago, also babysitting for my little brothers sometimes. I mean, she was, doing a little of this and a little of that. And she was so great that we told her we had to have her around all the time. And so now she is a core part of the Good Eggs team.
All right. Welcome,
Millie.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Now, you're a core part in New Orleans or another?
Yes, in New Orleans. I was the third team member at Good Eggs in New Orleans, and like Tess said, I started as an intern, and it just turned into sort of a perfect fit.
So can we stay at your place in Orange Beach now? You're not there anymore?
Why not? Of course.
Yeah, we needed a Good Eggs beach house. That's really the motivation.
Yes, so we have Good Eggs retreats. So.
Nice.
So.
Well, speaking of New Orleans and Good Eggs, I'd like to know how the company moved from San Francisco. How did they choose New Orleans? Was this the company's first foray into another market? Second.
Yep, New York was first. So we have this weird Yale mafia thing going on with Good Eggs. I went to Yale. 2 of the people on the founding team of Good Eggs went to Yale. And New York, where they started, there's this guy who was also we were all in the same class at Yale, and this guy who was in our class at Yale, since we graduated college, had been turned his family farm from kind of a hobby apple orchard into a real working farm, and that's in upstate New York. So
this is like a Skull and Bones secret organization.
Pretty much. Yeah, actually, they might, shoot me for telling you this, but the 3 of them, not me, but the 2 founding team members and this guy Josh in New York, they actually were all in a secret society together.
But
it
not
was not Skull and
Bones. Oh.
But they were in a secret society together, and that's how they all became close.
Wow.
So they hired Josh because he was part of their secret society, more or less.
So this could be like
and
a Trojan
farmer.
horse, right? We think that Monsanto's the villain, but it's actually
really,
it's really Good Eggs.
Good Eggs is really taking over the world insidiously. Yeah,
insidiously through New Orleans. That's
through
how most
New
people
Orleans.
try to do it.
It's a strategic access point, into the hearts and minds of America. They did San Francisco, then they did New York, and they thought, we really want to make a difference for all farmers and food producers. We want to create tools that can help farmers and food producers sell their food more efficiently, more effectively everywhere. So we can't just go to the big cities. We have to go to some more interesting, diverse, weird kinds of places. And that's when they called me. They said, hey, Tess, how would you like to start a Good Eggs office in New Orleans?
Now, was your dad already living here?
So I was living here. My dad grew up in Metairie, but then moved away for college and was living up in the Northeast. That's where I grew up. I moved down here 6 years ago to actually start a nonprofit with my dad post-Katrina, but he was still living up there. And then he moved back here in December.
Now, what was the nonprofit?
It's called Build Now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about it? It's still going.
Still
correct?
going. Yeah. We've built something like 80 houses now. We started to build new houses actually for people whose homes were too badly damaged during Katrina to rebuild, to renovate them. So we would build them a new house and help them get all the financing in place to do that. It's awesome. Yeah, it's still going now that there isn't as much like immediate post-Katrina rebuilding. We're doing some first-time houses for first-time homeowners, and other.
So you're still involved with it, huh?
I'm on the board. I'm loosely involved.
So your dad's involved.
My
with
dad's
it? Yeah.
more involved. We have this awesome woman, Jackie Hill, who's running the organization as the executive director. Good Eggs takes up about 125% of my time. So I love Build Now, but I just can't be around them as much as I'd like because I'm just thinking about food all the time.
And Millie, how did you first come to New Orleans and meet the Good Egg family?
Well, as we all know, New Orleans is a small city, and I happened to... I went to undergrad at Loyola, and I was there until 2012, moved back to Orange Beach, and decided I needed to make it back to New Orleans somehow, some way. And I just started talking to everybody I knew. And a friend of mine is involved with the John Besh Foundation now, who's also involved with our other coworker, Simone Reggie, did some stuff with the John Besh Foundation, and just kind of this circle of food people. And I happen to love food, and like Tess said, I've done some gardening, and so here I am.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Now it's a business, correct? Good Egg is a
yes,
business.
It is
or
a business.
nonprofit?
It is a mission-driven company. So we are a business, but we put our mission at the very forefront of everything that we do. So we're not going to, at the end of the day, just, turn around and say, oh, well, we have to, do things, we have to compromise our standards. No, we're not compromising our standards for the sake of profit. Our mission comes first. The way our profit structure, the way our revenue structure is set up, we take a percentage of every transaction that goes through our site. So you're actually buying the food directly from the producers. It's like on PayPal, right? Like you buy something through PayPal. You're not buying it from PayPal. You're buying it from whoever the seller is, and PayPal is acting as a transaction processor. That's kind of what we're doing. So,
but without PayPal, you couldn't get the product in the same way.
Right. So we're facilitating.
I couldn't connect with that farmer in the North Shore if it wasn't for Good Eggs.
Exactly, because they're not building out their own website, and you're not driving to their farm to hand them cash.
And they couldn't deliver for $3.99.
And they could not deliver for $3.99. Exactly. So we're facilitating those transactions, and as a result, the farmer is giving us 25% of their sale. So if they are selling through a grocery store, they're going to be getting only maybe 50 to 60% of the final retail price, whereas through us they're getting 75%. So the idea is it's a better deal for them, but also we're not making any money unless our farmers make money. So everything that we do is motivated directly towards driving sales for our farmers and food producers, because that's, at the end of the day, that's where our profit comes from also. So it's a really nicely aligned incentive structure.
So do you have tensions in trying to figure out where to draw the line and what you'll sell and what you get involved in? I mean, you're not eBay. You're not just going to do anything. So, for example, you've gone from eggs and apples and produce to, now you're talking about processed foods, like you got pastas and sauces and all that. Like where, like what are there boundaries? Like what are the boundaries? What are parameters? And would they be different for New Orleans, say, than San Francisco or New York?
These are really interesting questions, and they're questions we're still figuring out some of the answers to.
Like one of the farmers, for example, makes candles or shoes. Are you going to sell his candles or shoes on the site too?
If his candles are made out of beeswax from his hives, we'll definitely sell them. I mean, we stick mainly to food, although we do sell flowers,
and I think we're going to try to get some soaps on the site, and that.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing I was wondering about.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, things that these farmers can produce from their own on their farm. If it's an alternative way for them to sell one of their products.
But if one of them fixes up transistor radios, you're not going to want to sell that for them. Right, okay.
No, we're sticking. I mean, we're generally sticking to almost exclusively food, some other kind of home lifestyle kind of stuff. In New York, actually, on the New York Good Egg site, they have some local producer who makes these really awesome slate cheese boards. So they're selling slate cheese boards on the site. Amelia and I went to the Angola Rodeo yesterday and bought some cutting boards.
That's
we
right.
were debating whether or not it was ethically acceptable to sell prison-made cutting boards on Good Eggs. I think we decided we'd probably just not go there.
They pay those guys less than they do in China, I think, for stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really.
They're in jail though, so maybe I don't know.
I think they get to keep more of the money from their crafts. I think. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're also a working farm though. They grow vegetables at Angola, and they have like 3,000 head of cattle that they're raising for beef. It's a big.
But do they sell the?
No,
it's for their own
consumption. Right. Yeah.
Oh. That's a whole nother story.
Weird.
We need to get some prisoners here.
Yeah.
See if we can get them on furlough to come down here and tell us about.
Yeah,
that would be interesting.
Very.
But you didn't do that. You just went up and sold the rodeo and bought some
I'd never
cutting
been.
boards.
Millie and I, neither of us had ever been.
We just wanted to check out the experience,
Yeah.
And it was an experience. It was great.
It was an experience.
Yeah.
What is the most unusual food item that y'all sell? Like, I didn't see any foie gras on the local website.
Found a source of local foie gras. What do you think?
You have sausages.
We have sausages.
You have any
Sausages.
vital organs you sell? Like anybody's like giblets or anything?
We have. There's some.
As far as like what you can't get elsewhere, duck eggs.
Oh, we have duck eggs.
Duck eggs.
Yeah. They're coming back. They were out, but they're coming back. Like in the next week, we're getting duck eggs.
I
back.
talk about this all the time. I want to make duck eggs at home
They're
instead
so
of
good.
Well,
Yeah.
my
because I
brother-
can't
You
have
should
chicken
get a
eggs
duck.
anymore because I'm
Yeah.
spoiled with chicken eggs. I can only have
Why
my
don't
yard
you
eggs
get a duck?
My brother
Right.
in Old Metairie has. They eat duck eggs.
from his own duck.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah. You want to try? We'll have them bring on.
I will do a
some-
trade. I'll bring you my chicken eggs, and you can bring the duck eggs.
Perfect.
But you have to trade 2 or 3 chicken eggs for each
'Cause duck
duck
eggs are
egg
bigger,
because
I know.
They're bigger and
Yeah.
rarer. More.
Come
more
on,
rare.
don't tell her that.
How
Okay.
how did the duck eggs sell? You've had them before?
We had them kind of intermittently. We haven't had a really good steady supply of duck eggs, but people, it's one, those kind of specialty items, people see them on the site and they start selling really fast. Well, like if we have a limited inventory of them available, they'll go fast. We have, what we have right now? We have fresh, locally grown ginger.
Ooh.
Oh.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I love ginger.
We
Now, how
also
many customers do you have? I mean, like,
we have a bunch. It's interesting. We haven't really done a lot of marketing yet because we're still very small. We're still kind of in pilot mode. But we have people who order with us every week. We have new people coming on every week and people ordering.
well, what kind of
It's-
marketing have you done? Like,
We've-
how are you getting the word out?
We've had tables at events. We've participated at events.
We found that really social media and email marketing has been very,
All you need,
very
huh?
yeah, beneficial.
So you
thus
have a
far.
big Facebook presence,
Decent.
yeah,
Twitter, I guess too.
Getting
huh?
out there. Yeah.
I mean, it's funny. My friend out of the blue, who never talks to me about food at all, my friend Dustin, who you see over here all the time at Ted's, he always talks to me about old cars and music. But he, out of the blue, he sent me a thing about good eggs today.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it was like he was clairvoyant. He knew that you're going to be on the show. I was like, that's creepy.
Well,
yeah,
Millie,
but
didn't you say you were at
On
the
Facebook you did.
park or something? And
Yeah, I was eating the other day at Mona's Cafe because I wanted to try to
I
get
love
their
Mona's.
handmade pita, and
now we can't enjoy food because every time we go anywhere, we're like, can we sell this on Good Eggs? Oh, we don't have Crystal hot sauce on Good Eggs. Maybe we should try to sell Crystal on Good Eggs. It's local. So we can't enjoy anything just for its own
we were
sake.
always trying. I mean, at the rodeo, we were trying to sell their hot sauce, but
what do you do with the horses when they die? We can sell that. No.
we're just trying to, like we said, trying to keep it unique. But I overheard some people talking about Good Eggs, and I really didn't want them to know I was eavesdropping. But it's starting to grow in the city. People are talking about it, and just like even the small events that we've been doing are starting to get a little buzz created. So
So your staff is how many full-time people? Or just
5.
5 full-time, and so customers are dozens of regular customers and
Yeah.
a bunch
And a
more
bunch
one time,
more. Yeah,
sort of occasional.
A lot of people, we haven't done all the math on, what percentage of people become repeat customers, but it feels like a good number. Right now, we're in the early phases. What is most important to us right now is really having customers give us feedback because this is a very new business model. We want to hear from customers on what works and what doesn't work. A big part of our model is every new customer we send them a personal email saying, how was your order? What did you like? What did you not like? Was there anything we could do better? Because this is a new service and we're
Because the only
only
time
gonna,
you're meeting them, I guess, is when you're making the deliveries. huh?
yeah, and
Right.
that's, we have our delivery drivers are a core part of our ops team, and they definitely relay feedback back to our customer care team. But we really try to communicate a lot internally around what products are people really liking, what are they not liking. If someone says, oh, my acorn squash was rotten, we'll call the farmer and say, hey, we heard from a customer or 2 customers that the squash wasn't really that good. And we always refund people if they're not happy with their order, or like someone said.
So you have to eat some of that yourself?
It's very hard. It's a very hard part of the job. I sent Millie home with some ravioli over the weekend. Did you cook those?
yes, I did cook them, and they were very good. They were from Lindsay at Pasta Mano, and
A customer complained that they tasted too much like tarragon and not enough like mushroom. These frozen shiitake ravioli, but you didn't.
Oh,
know
I
that?
can guess where they
No.
lived.
Well,
I know the block,
tried
actually.
flavor.
Did you? You had the
The arugula and goat cheese, which you
someone
can't really
said-
go wrong with
Someone
that.
said those were too salty. People were really complaining last week. Most people don't complain. Most people are happy, and when they have feedback, it's like really awesome, constructive feedback.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it was good. I like everything that Pasta Mano does, and I didn't think it was too salty.
Okay, what's the weirdest complaint you've ever had?
Oh,
That
one
sounds
guy.
pretty weird. Anything worse than that?
Oh, there was one guy who went on a rant via email about meat. He's probably listening. I don't care. He went on a rant about the meat, and he just had everything to complain about the meat. That it was too expensive, and that it wasn't even very good, and that it was frozen. Because a lot of our meat, the farmers, they flash freeze it so that it stays fresh. Because meat actually, if you shrink wrap it and flash freeze it, it's better than and then defrost it slowly in your fridge. That's better than most meat you buy in the grocery store has been like packaged for a long time. Better to freeze it until right before you need it. Anyway, what else was he? He just knew a lot about meat and really wanted to. Sometimes you just get people who really want to just tell you what's up. They just want to.
They're not even complaining. They just want to show off.
They just want to express themselves. Yeah.
So you still have him as you haven't blocked him yet?
We haven't blocked him. I think he may have taken himself.
Yeah, he might have taken a little
picture.
hiatus. He might come back.
Yeah.
So,
but people for the most part, people are awesome. They see that what we're trying to do is drive more dollars into the local economy, drive more dollars to these local small family-owned businesses that really need our support. And we think it's important if we all start. If you look at what percentage of food is purchased from local suppliers here currently, it's 5% or something like that. If we all shifted 10% of our purchasing power to supporting local farmers and food producers, it would just make such a huge impact on the local economy, and that's what we're trying to do.
That's wonderful.
Well, speaking of local economy, the book of questions time.
Oh boy,
no correlation, but
nothing at all local about this book.
Yeah, but Tess.
Yes.
We'd like you to pick a number between 1 and 167.
She changes the number.
I know, it's random.
How about 84?
84.
That's a new one.
Okay, good. Yes.
I remember that number.
Okay. Would you have one of your fingers surgically removed if it somehow guaranteed immunity from all major diseases?
Well, how do you define a major disease?
And which finger?
This is the 80s. I don't know what major diseases were.
There's the AIDS had already come out by then. There were people who were upset.
But I mean, what is heart disease? Is a disease? Cancer? I mean, are you talking about like you're guaranteed to live until?
I feel diatribe coming on for me. I got to stop. Yeah, everything's a disease now.
Right.
Like being dumb is a disease. Like everything's a disease.
Too. Yeah. No, right.
Everything's a disease.
Everything's a disease.
Well, we know that she's not dumb, so anything besides.
Well, but I mean, I'm just thinking, like, does this mean essentially, like, unless you die in a fiery car crash, you're going to live until you're 100 or until
you may live till you're 100, but you may have some disfiguring disease.
Not a serious disease, just a loss of a finger.
You can either have your finger removed
Tell you
and
truth,
have no disease. Or, I don't know. I don't
you know what,
it.
personally, I would like to lose the finger just to have it as a conversation piece at that point. Why do you only have 9 fingers? I'll always have something to talk to people about.
I don't like hypotheticals, and I also don't like surgery. I think I would probably leave it up to chance. I'm not one for elective surgery. And this isn't a real guarantee. I mean, no one can, like, this isn't really a fair trade, like a finger for disease.
Okay.
No, I'm not taking it.
Good for you.
You don't play the piano or banjo or anything?
No, I don't really need my pinky fingers for anything, but
you don't want to give it up.
I don't want to give it up. I almost sliced, you can't see it on the radio, but there's a scar here because I was chopping an avocado one time and almost hacked my own finger off with a serrated knife and had to get stitches. So after that, I don't think I want to risk my fingers getting any more.
See, that's what I'm talking about. A little cut, you got a story out of it. That's not bad.
Right.
If you lost a whole finger, that's really that's a good conversation piece.
Not worth it.
No? Okay. All right. That's about as
Millie.
good as we can do with that.
What's your number?
Between 1 and 167?
Or 217.
Okay, let's go with 215.
We usually don't get towards the end. That's good.
Okay. Would you like to be elected president of this country? Why? If so, would you still choose to be president if it meant that your sleep would always be very fitful?
So random. So random. Weird.
It's very specific.
Very fitful and disturbed, punctuated by frequent nightmares.
Well, I
There's
think
other
we
reasons
answered
to
the
not want to be
question.
president. That's such a lame reason not to want to be president. There's lots of other better ones, but okay.
I think the fitful the fitful sleep and the nightmares. No, I don't know.
Would you want to be president without the fitful sleep and the nightmares?
No.
That's a terrible job compared to working for Good Eggs. You
Yeah.
crazy?
Yeah, I can't really imagine that one. No. I'll say no to the presidency on either account.
You ever see the before and after pictures of presidents? They always look awful at the end. Lyndon Johnson looked like he'd been run over by a car. He just looked terrible. He grew a ponytail at one point, like Grant.
After the presidency?
Yeah, after the
I
presidency.
didn't get
No
it.
one noticed because no one talked to him. Both parties hated him at the end.
Yeah,
Had
I
nothing
think
to do
I'll
with
stick with Good Eggs.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'd stick with Good Eggs too. You got a great job. So let's see. So you went to Loyola, and
did.
what'd you major in? Did you major in eggs or
I
marketing?
wish that I majored in eggs. No, I majored in mass communication and Spanish.
Oh, cool.
So yeah.
All right.
And here I am.
You have a lot of Spanish. Any farmers you interact with? That,
We're
that helps?
going to work on that. I really would like to get involved with the Latino Farmers Co-op when they finally get up and running. They have some land over in the St. Rock area, so they're about to really grow some things, and maybe we can help them out and sell their.
Is there a bilingual capability in the website too? Like, can people who speak Spanish, are they able to order on the website?
Not,
without
right now
fluency?
we don't have that. But I think with Google you can automatically
Oh,
translate
yeah, that's
any
true,
page
translate,
into a
right.
different
True.
language.
Yeah.
So let's hope that works while we build up our multilingual site.
All right. So
Right.
then you went to that community college up in New Haven, right? Yale. And
Yep,
what was that?
in
What was-
Connecticut.
Yeah.
It's funny.
What'd you major in?
History.
Ah.
Yeah, but I do often, when people ask me where I went to school, I often say, in Connecticut. Vague, because it just always elicits, Ivy League. It's not worth dealing with that. So I'm vague, yeah.
But you studied in history.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
studied
okay.
history at Yale.
All right.
That's the truth.
Neat. What are you laughing at?
What?
Nothing. I'm just.
She's laughing at me.
Yes, I'm
No, she's usually laughing at me. She never laughs at the guests. All right, so let me ask you another thing. So you have office space now. You have a headquarters, don't you, in the Bywater?
Marigny.
In the Marigny, okay. I heard
I live
it
in
was
the
a fire.
Bywater.
You live in the Bywater,
Right.
okay. And the Bywater's the chicken talk and all. Okay,
Right.
Okay,
Chicken's
close,
in both.
Close. Though,
Rooster
okay.
on our block.
Yes.
To me, when you live in Uptown, Marigny
I
and
know.
Bywater are pretty similar. Okay, but just costs more in the Marigny. But
Yes.
so you have a fire station that was turned into an office, right? And
It's true.
Yeah, and so is this like? Are you guys sitting down at computers during the day, or what are you doing? You're out with farmers. You're visiting on site. What's a day look like?
It's honestly a nice, healthy mix of the two. As we are a delivery business, so
you're
there's
changing
quite a bit on your
tires for, like-
feet. Yeah, we already lost the hubcap on our new van, but that's okay. No, really, we spend a lot of time on the actual website, making sure that the shopping experience is, what it's supposed to be. But also, we spend time going to see the farms and the operations of our vendors. It's really important for us to see what they're doing and how they're doing it. Transparency is like a big part of what we're doing with Good Eggs. So, they tell us, that I have pasture-raised beef and pasture-raised eggs. We want to see it for ourselves. Plus, it's great. It's producer customer experience. We get to tell them that we've met the producer and that they have land right outside of the city, and they can go see it for themselves if they want.
So you're pretty much familiar with all the farmers in the metro area now, and within a short drive. Or are you learning new farmers all the time? How did they find you? Are you looking for them?
It's a
How's
mix.
that? How you foraging for new stuff? all
It's
the
a
time,
mix.
or-
We're always looking for new people. The prepared food is an area where we're really always looking for new people to work with. If anyone out there listening, wants to make sauce or salad dressing or bread or anything like that, email us at nola@goodeggs.com. We're always looking for new people. As for the farms, there are always more people growing stuff. The question is, where's the line between like a backyard grower that kind of grows to feed their family versus a large-scale 40-acre operation? There's some people that grow a little bit and sell it at farmers markets. There's some people who are growing recreationally but want to be growing professionally. we're always talking to farmers and food makers at all different stages because we would like to help. If it's something they want to do, if they want to grow their business into being, you know, a more sizable operation, we always want to talk to them.
So what's the smallest farmer you use? I mean, is there somebody that makes like somebody like me, 3 eggs? Can I sell you my 3 eggs right now a day?
You
right?
have to be insured to be on Good Eggs is the only thing. So we found this amazing food liability insurance policy that's $300 a year, which is totally reasonable if you're going to say, like, okay, I'm going to have a business. Even if it's a business that only makes a couple $1,000 a year, it's still, you know, it's got to be a business. We would love to come up with some kind of legal parameters for an urban farming co-op where you could buy in for, you know, $50, you could buy into this co-op that would then allow you to be insured as part of a cooperative and sell your goods through Good Eggs. But right now, the you know, you can be as small as you want. You just have to be, you know, kind of have your business paperwork in order, and whether it's, you know, a sole proprietorship or an LLC or whatever, and have insurance.
Now, I noticed the website is very visual and attractive. Who does that? Who goes out and takes the photographs in your team? And
Millie took some of them.
We have a combination of photographers that we've been using since I started. Our first photographer, Alex Shanefield, she was out of town, so we had Denny Colbert photography come in for a couple of weeks, so he has some photos on the site. Also, Alex has some, I think it's Alex Eve Photography. She's I guess our more consistent photographer. And then, you know, we'll have Tim from Stony Point who comes in with some Satsumas, and I have my camera on hand, and we'll just, you know, snap some photos just to get his product on the site as quick as possible.
It's very attractive and appealing, and it's important if people are going to buy something to be able to feel like they can see what they're purchasing and get a feel for it before they order. So it's really nice.
Yeah, it's important, and I think that's where some other food-related websites have gone wrong, is underestimating how important it is to have a pleasant visual interface for people. Food is so sensual. It's, you know, it's a total sensory experience. You have to replicate that in the website. If you don't have a website that's going to make people hungry, you're not going to sell any food through it.
So what's a food website that went wrong?
I'm not naming names.
Grant loves my food photography. He says it's beautiful. I used to post these food pictures, and they would just gross people out. So there really is an art to doing that too.
Some people do. You see on social media or Facebook or Instagram or whatever, people will very earnestly post a plate of food that's like a brown and gray,
right,
you know, like a brown stew.
Yeah, wet things look awful, and usually.
Oh,
yeah.
And then they'll do a flash, so there will be a shine on the glop. It's just bad.
Yeah, so some things that smell and taste beautiful, and
yeah,
just lovely, can be ruined in pictures.
I'm sure that gumbo tastes great, but your picture looks terrible.
Right.
Well, I suffered from that because we had on Gracious Bakery last week.
Oh, so good. She's so good.
And I got a pretzolata to go for my airplane flight, and I tried to take a picture and do an Instagram, you know, social media thing to get it out there, and it just looked...
you ruined Gracious Bakery.
I didn't put it out there because I have a discerning eye, and I knew that it did not look as great as it tasted, and people were envious, and so I appreciate the effort it takes to
yeah, and I
appreciate
that. you know, editing yourself. Because if I could make one comment to all the amateur food photographers out there, it's like, edit yourself with discernment.
So the problem is you look through it in the lens of your experience of it, though. You just had this great meal. Maybe even the meal wasn't that great, but you had a great friend with you and all the rest of that. And no one has access to that when they see the picture. They're just seeing this picture. They don't know how it smelled and how it tasted and who in this, you know, interesting person you shared it with.
Yeah, and great food photography does make you feel all those things.
Right.
You know, like Denny, who we've worked with, he's an incredible food photographer, and every picture that he takes, you feel the life in that produce.
And the
you
color.
Even disgusting things can be made great by a great. Yeah, I mean, I'll be watching the TV and it's kind of in the background, and all of a sudden you hit one of these ads. And I get drawn in. I go, that does look good. And then it's Taco Bell or something. It's like, no, that would really be awful. Yeah.
Well, we have a pork farmer who sells back fat pork fatback, which is also just
that's got to be really
fatback.
easy to photograph. Yeah.
You know, I don't remember which of. I know that was the one thing we were like, oh my, because raw meat's a little tough to photograph beautifully anyway. This is like a slab of fat. I don't know whether it was Denny or Alex, but whichever one of our photographers shot that, people order it all the time.
It was Denny.
Was it Denny? Yeah. I mean, it's actually quite an appealing picture, and people order it. So we must have done an okay job with it.
Now, what do you put back
photo.
fat in? Like, what do you do with it?
You can render it into lard.
Oh, okay.
You can grind it. Like, if you're grinding sausage, you usually need to, like, especially if you're grinding beef sausage, which is drier, you'll typically add some fat back into it, and that's often pork fat.
Can I just put a slab of it in a frying pan and eat it up like that?
Sure.
It's probably not great,
if you'd
huh?
like to. It would probably taste good. You probably wouldn't feel great after.
Oh, okay.
You can, you can use it like for a roux, for the base of a gumbo instead of butter. If you want to use, rendered pork fat instead of butter in your roux, that works great.
You can use it to cook fries in.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, there you go.
You've just got to render it down because it's like a thick slab of fat, but you have to slowly melt it down.
Okay.
Until it's like a more of a liquidy consistency, and then it's lard, and I don't know exactly how that works. But
so when you deliver that, right? I guess you don't do too many deliveries, but you knock on the door. Who's the kind of person that buys the back fat? I'm going to be markedly different looking than the kind of people that buy, the arugula.
And what does it cost? Is it at like a high
let me
ticket
look.
price?
I think it's like $3 for a package of back fat.
$3 for a truckload full.
Let me see. I bet I can find. No, it's very useful. It's very useful. Here, let me find it for you. It's we have a lot of great meat. We have these big roasts. We've got sausage. I'm buying time while I look up the price of back fat. Hold on, wait for it.
Hey, well, while you're doing that, let me ask you one more thing because we're almost out of time. Unfortunately, it's why so fast. But so when you get into prepared foods, I guess even the farmer stuff. I mean, are there organic standards too? Of like, well, this has to be. I mean, I know that's such a overused term, and it's legal rendering is different from sort of what you'd intuitively call organic or whatever. But like for example, somebody's making some kind of prepared food, you don't know all the ingredients that went into it or whatever. I mean, how do you police that? Or for all we know, Don Estes could be using like he's just taking
babies.
Babies, right? No, he's taking like Pizza Hut and warming it up, or so I don't know. I mean, how do you?
Our primary value is transparency.
Okay.
So we pick people who understand our mission and who really understand that our core value is customers should be able to know where their food comes from.
Right.
So if you we understand that, especially with prepared food, they're small businesses and better ingredients are expensive. And so sometimes they can't buy everything organic because it's expensive, they're just getting started. I mean, there are a lot of complicating factors. We trust the judgment of these small businesses because we are hand selecting everyone based on the idea that they're doing the best they can. But we know that if they are getting that, we always encourage them to buy their vegetables locally, to buy their dairy and meat locally. We help connect them to people who sell those products locally. So we're constantly working with them to improve their sourcing. Yeah. But in the meantime, they just have to be willing to list all the ingredients of their products on the site. And then if anyone asks, to say where they got them. So, and a lot of them, when they are using organic or local ingredients, they'll call them out. They'll say, this was made with local tomatoes, organic zucchini, because like you said, organic is a big business term right now. It's really expensive to get certified organic. All the produce on our site, we know if they're using any pesticides or synthetic fertilizers. We know what they are and aren't doing. Totally transparent about that. Almost all the produce on our site is totally free of synthetic chemicals.
Yeah.
But it's a conversation. There aren't like neat check boxes and categories for everything. But people, like, we're all so into the convenience of, it's organic. It says organic, so I can feel okay about it. It's like, well, there's some more questions to ask.
And a lot of our farmers, too, like Tess said, it's expensive to get certified organic just because they don't have that actual label, that title. They're using organic practices. Like we went and visited a lady recently that uses duckweed from her moat to fertilize her citrus trees.
Today we went to Vintage Garden, which is in Chalmette, and he was talking about this worm that was attacking the leaves of the beet plant, and he said, I sprayed them with BT, and I was thinking, I didn't think he sprayed his plants with what? So I said, well, Jafar, what did you spray? And he's, oh, well, it's this bacteria that specifically attacks this specific kind of worms. So this is the level of pride that these farmers are taking in their work. They know which kind of worms specifically attack the leaves of the beet plant, and they get some, naturally occurring bacteria to combat the worms instead of finding some kind of all-purpose worm killer and, dusting everything in that.
Well, it sounds like we're out of time, aren't we?
Yes.
Unfortunately. I could talk about this all day. I hope we can have you back in sometime real soon. This has been wonderful. Our guest has been Tess Monahan of Good Eggs. And what is your email address? Where can people order that?
My email address is tess@goodeggs.com.
Oh, I meant the website address. I'm sorry.
They can email me personally, but they can order just at www.goodeggs.com. That will redirect. There's an option to choose your city, and you do goodeggs.com/NOLA to go straight to the New Orleans version of the site.
Great. Okay. And we'll have information on that on our website. And your plus one was Millie Schamberger. And we're so glad to have you here, too.
Thank you.
Thank you. And also with Good Eggs. Thank you so much for your time, and we really appreciate it. And we hope this is just a huge success in our city.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Here.
Our show is recorded live at Ted's Frost Top on Claiborne Avenue in Calhoun in Uptown New Orleans. Ted's is open 7 days a week, serving first-class burgers, beer, and their awesome homemade root beer in a frosty mug. Midnight Menu Plus One is produced by Grant Morris, and Chris Keogh is our technical director. And this fabulous audio quality that you hear is by PreSonus Audio Electronics. Makes all kinds of wonderful things. Visit PreSonus.com for more information. You can get in touch with us here at Midnight Menu Plus One by going to our website. It's neworleans.com, and from there you can follow us on Twitter, find us on Facebook, sign up for our mailing list, get all kinds of swag. And while you're at itsneworleans.com, you can listen to other episodes of Midnight Menu Plus One and our other shows, Happy Hour, Mindset, True to the Game, Vietnola, Out to Lunch, and others. And if you listen to the show on iTunes, please rate us and review us. It helps other people to find us. Midnight Menu Plus One is a production of INO Broadcasting for itsneworleans.com. So we meet here again at Ted's Frost Top. I am Ray Kanata.
And I'm Margot Moss. Thanks.
You know Labor Day signals the unofficial end of summer, but not the end of your outdoor projects. Lowe's helps you do it right and helps you save with Labor Day deals throughout the store. Shop now and get 2 bags of Stay Green Potty Mix for $12. And keep your lawn looking neat and trim with a Craftsman 2-cycle 17-inch gas string trimmer, now $20 off at just $119. Whatever's still on your to-do list this Labor Day, do it right for less. Start with Lowe's. Offers valid through 8/28. Soil offer excludes Alaska and Hawaii. U.S. only.